The first time I saw her again, I dropped the coffee in my hand. It shattered across the pavement, hot liquid splashing over my shoes, but I didn't feel it. Because standing across the street, under the soft golden light of a quiet afternoon, was the one person I had spent years trying to forget, and failing every single day. If you believe in kindness and second chances, take a moment right now to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Echoes the Stories. You never know who might need a reminder that life can surprise you when you least expect it. I hadn't planned on dating again. Not really. Life as a single dad had a way of shrinking your world into something small but meaningful. My mornings began with burnt toast and my daughter Myra's sleepy smile, her hair always a mess no matter how carefully I brushed it. My evenings ended with homework battles, bedtime stories, and the quiet hum of loneliness once she fell asleep. For years, that was enough. Or at least, that's what I told myself. Myra was 6 when I finally decided to try again. Not because I had stopped loving the past, but because I was tired of living inside it. My friends had been pushing me gently, reminding me that I was still young, that I deserved happiness too. But the truth was, I wasn't afraid of meeting someone new. I was afraid of remembering someone old. Still, one quiet Tuesday afternoon, while Myra was at school, I sat in a small cafe and waited for a woman named Syra. We had matched online. She liked books, long walks, and had a laugh that she described as too loud for polite company. It sounded safe. Predictable. Exactly what I needed. Or so I thought. Because Syra never showed up. Instead, fate, or something crueler, sent her. Her name was Noreen. Even thinking it still felt like opening an old wound that never healed right. Years ago, she had been everything to me. The kind of love that makes you believe in forever without hesitation. The kind that feels like home even in chaos. And then one day, she was gone. No goodbye. No explanation. Just silence. I had spent months searching, calling, breaking apart piece by piece until there was nothing left but the responsibility of being a father. Myra had been barely a year old then. She became my anchor, the only reason I kept moving forward when everything inside me wanted to collapse. And now, there she was. Standing just across the street like the past had decided to walk back into my life without permission. She looked different. Of course she did. Time changes people. But not in the ways that matter. I still recognize the way she tilted her head when she was thinking, the way her eyes searched the world like they were always looking for something just out of reach. For a moment, I thought I was imagining it. That grief had finally caught up with me and was playing tricks. But then she looked up, and our eyes met. And everything stopped. I wish I could say I walked away. That I chose dignity, chose peace, chose the life I had built so carefully. But the heart doesn't work that way. It never has. I crossed the street before I could stop myself. Each step felt heavier than the last, like I was walking into a storm I knew would break me. She didn't move. She just stood there, frozen, as if she had been caught between running and staying. Up close, I saw it. The guilt. The fear. The same unspoken words we had both carried for years. Neither of us spoke at first. There are moments in life when silence says more than anything words could ever manage. But standing there, in the middle of an ordinary afternoon that had suddenly become extraordinary, I realized something terrifying. I wasn't over her. Not even close. The conversation that followed was messy, incomplete, and filled with pauses that stretched too long. She tried to explain, but the details blurred together. There had been reasons, she said. Complicated ones. Family pressure, fear, circumstances she couldn't control. She thought leaving was the only way to protect everyone. I wanted to be angry. I deserved to be angry. But all I felt was a deep, aching sadness. Because the truth was simple and cruel. She had left. And I had stayed behind to pick up the pieces. Days passed after that encounter, but my world didn't feel the same anymore. It was like someone had reopened a chapter one had spent years trying to close. I found myself distracted, distant. Mira noticed it too. Children always do. One evening, as the sun painted our living room in warm gold, she climbed onto my lap and asked a question that shattered me in a way I hadn't expected. She asked if I was sad. I told her no. I lied. But she looked at me with those wide, honest eyes and said something that changed everything. She said it was okay to miss people, but not okay to forget the ones who stayed. That night, I didn't sleep. I thought about everything. About the man I used to be, and the father I had become. About the love I had lost, and the love that still existed right in front of me every single day. And for the first time, I understood something clearly. Closure doesn't always come from answers. Sometimes, it comes from acceptance. The next day, I went back to that street. Not because I expected to see her again, but because I needed to prove to myself that I could stand there without breaking. But she was there. Waiting. Somehow, we both had the same idea. This time, the conversation was different. Quieter. More honest. There were no excuses left, no illusions to hide behind. Just two people facing the truth of what they had lost. She told me she never stopped thinking about me. That leaving was the biggest mistake of her life. And for a moment, I almost believed that love could be enough to fix everything. But life isn't a story that rewinds. It moves forward, whether we're ready or not. I told her about Mira. About the life we had built. About the nights I stayed awake just to make sure my daughter felt safe in a world that had once taken everything from me. And then I said the hardest thing I've ever had to say. I said goodbye. Not out of anger. Not out of pride. But out of love for the life I had now. Because sometimes, holding on means letting go. As I walked away, I didn't feel the crushing pain I had expected. Instead, there was something softer. Something lighter. Peace. That evening, I picked Mira up from school and took her for ice cream. We laughed about silly things, talked about her day, and for the first time in a long time, I felt completely present. Like I wasn't carrying the weight of yesterday anymore. If this story touched your heart in any way, take a moment to like, comment, and share it. Someone out there might need this reminder that healing is possible, even when it feels impossible. And before you go, tell me in the comments, have you ever had to let go of someone you never truly stopped loving? Because sometimes, the strongest thing a person can do, is choose the life that chose them back.